Hi there and welcome to the Explaining History videocast from the slightly unorthodox location of my car. The reason why I'm here sat in my car talking to you guys is because on the way down the hill, I'm just off for my afternoon run, on the way down the hill I was starting to think, starting to have something of a revelation really. About everything I've done with explaining history, and it was one I felt I really needed to share with you guys. A few days ago, a friend of mine asked me, what is the message of explaining history? And I had something of a kind of a crisis of faith, and I thought to myself, well, is there a message? And in essence, it's quite a simple one. It is to make modern history as accessible to as many people as possible. But when it comes to talking to students, and this is what I kind of hoped the video casts for explaining history would be more about, the message, if anything, is that everybody, regardless of where you are now, regardless whether you've got an A or an E or a U or an A star, what have you, everybody is capable of being an outstanding history student. The reason I know this is that one of my students last year, not bragging here, I can even get you an affidavit on this one if need be. One of my students I took from a U grade to an A star last year. Testimonial, not affidavit. That's the word I was looking for. Testimonial. I took from a U to an A star. I'll see if I can post a testimonial under this video at some point in the future. So it can be done. And how can it be done? How can I make these ridiculous claims? Well, the reason why I'd say this can be done, and anybody is capable of doing it, is the things that historians do, whilst often detailed and complicated, are replicatable. And they're replicatable by pretty much anyone. You simply have to understand, in general terms, what historians are doing. And the problem that most history students have is that this is a practice that isn't really taught in the classroom. Or if it is, it's taught in very strange kind of arcane terms, where you're looking at sources and looking at historiographies, and nobody actually really says, well, here's why we do these things. So simply, the work of historians is based around exploring evidence and being able to come up with reasoned judgments based on, I guess, the balance of probabilities. What seems most likely, what seems most credible, what seems most common sense, in a way, based on the evidence we have. And so it's just simply a process of evaluation all the way through. And I am passionate. I believe that everyone can do this. And I know for a fact that basically everybody does do this. We evaluate evidence all day long, every day, when we're in the supermarket looking at the different prices and costs of foodstuffs, to when we're looking at things like football results. We have theories, arguments, stories we put to ourselves why things are the way they are, why the price of bread goes up, why a certain football team doesn't do very well. We look at the evidence, we evaluate it, and we come up with explanations and judgments. And this is simply, on a very basic level, what historians do. So if I have a message, it is a message of hope to you all, yes, that all students, irrespective of where they are now, are capable of outstanding history results simply by following a set of logical steps. And it's going to be my mission now, in the next year or so, to try to build these steps more into the materials on explaininghistory.com and talk about this a little bit more on this videocast and a little bit more on the podcast. If you are a struggling history student now and you're finding things difficult, keep in touch with me. Get me at info@explaininghistory.com and I can give you the support and help you need. Also, keep checking out the materials I'm posting at www.explaininghistory.com, and please email me if the things that you need are not there, because I ain't psychic, so tell me and I'll make them for you. And follow the podcast, and I will be creating new work later on in the year, which is specifically going to take students from those very difficult points in their learning through to outstanding knowledge. Anyway, I thought I'd share this with you now, and please do join me at explaininghistory.com. Tune into our podcast, which you can find at explaininghistory.podhoster.com, and keep tuned on this video channel. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.